Hi guys, welcome to my new YouTube channel. The main reason that I've made this channel is to upload weekly, maybe daily videos about the Football League. The content that I'm going to be uploading will be analysis, statistics, reviews, overviews, and my own personal opinions about players, teams and what's happening in the English Premier League this season. Because it's a new channel, I don't have any subscribers, so if you're stumbling across the video and you like it, please give me a subscription. Hit the notification bell to get emails and notifications when I upload a video. If you like the video, then please leave a like on it. Comments are appreciated. I'd like to hear your guys' feedbacks and opinions about what you liked, what I could really do better. And also, because it's the first video, I'm actually recording it on my laptop, so if the sound quality isn't good, then I apologise now. Hopefully, if the channel gets popular, I'll be able to upload better videos with better sound once I get the right equipment. So the first video that I'm going to be uploading is we're going to have a look at the difficulty rating of each team's opening 5 fixtures. And how I've categorised this is into 4 different sections. So on the left, in the red rating of 4 to 5, that will be your more difficult games. Making your way towards the right in the green section, and they will be on paper your easiest games. How it'll work is if your team is playing a home game against a team in the red section, it'll be a rating of 4. But if your team is away against a team in the red section, then it'll be a rating of 5. So the home games are the lower number, and then the away games are the higher number. So how I split them up is I put the top 6 into the 4 and 5 category, so Man City, Man United, Tottenham, Liverpool, Chelsea and Arsenal. And then moving down, Burnley, Everton, Leicester, West Ham and Newcastle United. Moving down, Crystal Palace, Bournemouth, Watford and Brighton. And then in the rating, on paper the easier games is going to be Huddersfield, Southampton and the 3 newly promoted clubs, Wolves, Cardiff and Fulham. So how it's going to work is you'll get a rating for every one of the 5 games, and then I'll add all the ratings up and then you'll get a total. So if the total is between 5 and 11, I class that as quite an easy schedule. 12 to 16 is favourable, so I'll personally think that the team will be getting a few points. 17 to 21 is a tough schedule, and then 22 to 25 is difficult, which means there might not be a lot of points. So I hope that all made sense, and we'll start into it. Start off with Arsenal. So Arsenal start their season with a home tie against last season's champions Manchester City. Difficulty rating of 4 because Arsenal are the home team and Manchester City are in the red section. Last season, Manchester City had the best away record. They only lost 1 game out of 19, and they won 16 of the 19 games. This game last season, it finished Arsenal 0, Manchester City 3. Arsenal's second game of the season doesn't get any easier. Away trip to Stamford Bridge to face Chelsea. Chelsea's record at home last season, they were the 6th best. In 19 games they won 11, drew 4 and lost 4 with 37 points. I've gave this a difficulty rating of 5 because Chelsea are in the red section and they are the home team, which means it's 5 points. The score last season at Stamford Bridge, it was Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. Third game for Arsenal is a home tie against West Ham United. West Ham's away record was 13th best in the Premier League last season. They only managed 3 wins all season, 6 draws and 10 losses, 15 points in total. Difficulty rating of 3, and the game last year it finished Arsenal 4, West Ham United 1. Arsenal's 4th game is an away trip to newly promoted Cardiff. I gave this a difficulty rating of 2 because Cardiff are in the green section and then obviously Cardiff are the home team. They were promoted in 2nd, they had the 2nd best home record in the Championship. In 23 games they won 16 of them, drew 4 and lost 3. They got 52 points on home soil. The last time Cardiff and Arsenal met at Cardiff in the Premier League was in November 2013, and it finished Cardiff 0, Arsenal 3. Arsenal's 5th game Newcastle United away, difficulty rating of 4, which means the overall rating, combined rating, is 18 out of 25, which in my opinion is a tough start to the season for Arsenal. Newcastle United actually beat Arsenal 2-1 last season at St James's Park, so hopefully Arsenal won't get a repeat of that. Moving on to the second team, Bournemouth. Bournemouth start the season with a home tie against newly promoted Cardiff. Bournemouth and Cardiff haven't actually met in the Premier League yet. The last time they met was in the Championship in December 2014. High scoring game, Bournemouth actually beat Cardiff 5-3. Cardiff's away record last season were 4th best in the Championship, 23 games, 11 wins, 5 draws, 7 losses, 38 points in total. I've given this a difficulty rating of 1 because Cardiff are in the green section and Bournemouth are the home team. Second game of the season for Bournemouth is an away trip to West Ham United. This game finished 1-1 last season. Difficulty rating of 4. I think that West Ham are going to be a surprise package this season. They've done some good business throughout the summer. West Ham's record at home last season was actually the 11th best. 19 games, 7 wins, 6 losses, 6 draws, 27 points in total. Bournemouth's third game, home game against Everton. Everton's away record last season was 14th best. The game last season, in this fixture last season, it finished Bournemouth 2, Everton 1. Everton's away record was 14th best and they only won 3 games on the road last season. Fourth game doesn't get any easier, Chelsea away. The game last season, it was Chelsea 0, Bournemouth 3, so Bournemouth actually went to Stamford Bridge and pulled off a surprise and a shock. It's a difficulty rating of 5, so one of the harder games that you'll get this season. Chelsea's home record last season was actually 6th best. 11 wins, 4 losses, 4 draws in 19 games, 36 points. And Bournemouth's 5th game to start the season is a home game against Leicester City. Leicester's away record last season was 7th best, even though they only won 5 games. 5 wins, 5 draws, 9 losses for 20 points. This game last season finished Bournemouth 0, Leicester City 0, and it's a difficulty rating of 3. So adding them all up, the overall difficulty rating is 16 out of 25, which in my opinion is another tough start to the season for Bournemouth. Moving on to Brighton. Brighton start the season away to Watford. Watford home record last season was 12th best. They got 27 points in 19 games, won 7, drawn 6 and lost 6. The record last season being 12th best could do with some improvement. They only scored 27 goals at home and conceded 31. The game last season finished Watford 0, Brighton 0 with a difficulty rating of 3. Brighton then have a home game against Manchester United, but in this fixture last season Brighton shocked Man United and won 1-0. Even though Man United's away record was 3rd best last season. 19 games, they had 34 points, they had 10 wins, 4 draws and 5 losses. I put this as a difficulty rating of 4. Then, it doesn't get any easier, away trip to Anfield to play Liverpool. Liverpool's home record last season was 4th best. They didn't actually lose a home game all last season. They won 12, drew 7 in 19 games. They only conceded 10 goals and scored a huge 45 goals. And the score last season was Liverpool 4, Brighton 0. It's a 5 difficulty rating. Next up for Brighton is the home tie against newly promoted Fulham. Brighton and Fulham haven't actually met in the Premier League. The last time they met was in November 2016. In the Championship it finished Brighton 2, Fulham 1. Fulham went through the playoffs, qualified in the playoffs, and their away record last season was 2nd best in the Championship. 12 wins, 5 draws, 6 losses, 41 points in total in 23 games. 5th and final game is an away trip to Southampton to St Mary's. Southampton and Brighton drew the game 1-1 last season. Southampton's home record, however, is 19th best last season, So only one team had a worse home record. They only won 4 games in 19 at home last season and only got 19 points. Because it's an away tie in Southampton in the green section, it's a difficulty rating of 2. So that's a total of 15 out of 25, which in my opinion is a favourable start to the season for Brighton. Apart from the Manchester United and Liverpool games, I think that Brighton can get points at Watford, Fulham, Southampton. So maybe 3 wins out of 5, 9 points out of possible 15. I don't think Brighton fans will complain about that. Moving it on, Burnley. Burnley start the season away at Southampton. Burnley actually went to Southampton last season and won 1-0. Like I said before, Southampton's home record, 19th best, so really poor at home. Difficulty rating of 2. Home tie against Watford for the second game. Burnley also won this game 1-0 last season. Watford's away record was 15th best in the league. 19 games, 4 wins, 2 draws, 13 losses. Watford away from home last season. Only scored 17 goals. So Burnley, they could potentially have 6 points from 2 games. And then, it doesn't get harder. Away trip to Fulham, newly promoted Fulham. The last time that Burnley and Fulham played against each other was in the Championship in March 2016. It finished Fulham 2, Burnley 3. The last time that Fulham and Burnley played in the Premier League, it finished Fulham 3, Burnley 0. And that took place in February 2010. So hopefully Burnley will be hoping not for a repeat of that one. But then the schedule does get a bit more tricky. They've got a home game against Manchester United for their 4th game of the season. This game last season, it finished Burnley 0, Manchester United 1. Manchester United's record 3rd best away from home. Difficulty rating of 4. Manchester United last season conceded 19 goals away from home in 19 games. Probably due to David De Gea's heroics most of the season. And the 5th game could be another potential win. Away trip to newly promoted Wolves, who won the Championship. Wolves last season had the best away record in the Championship. In 23 games they won 16 of them. Drew 5 and only lost 2. 53 points in total. I've given this game a difficulty rating of 2. Wolves and Burnley met each other last in the Championship in November 2015. The game finished in a 0-0 draw. But the last time they met in the Premier League, it'd have to go back 9 years. December 2009. Finished Wolves 2, Burnley 0. Difficulty rating of 12, so in my opinion Burnley has one of the easiest starts to the season. 12 out of 25 means it is a favourable start to the season. Potentially Burnley could have 12 points, 4 wins out of 5 games. Manchester United obviously the trickiest game that Burnley have in the first 5. Moving it on, newly promoted Cardiff. Bournemouth away for the first game of the season. Difficulty rating of 3. Bournemouth and Cardiff haven't actually met in the Premier League. The last time they met was in the Championship in December 2014. High scoring game, it finished Burnley 5, Cardiff 3. Second game of the season, Newcastle United at home. Newcastle's away record, 12th best last season. 4 wins, 4 draws, 11 losses. The last time Cardiff and Newcastle met was in Championship in April 2017, where it finished Cardiff 0, Newcastle United 2. They have met in the Premier League before. The last time they met in the Premier League at Cardiff, it finished Cardiff 1, Newcastle United 2, and that game was in October 2013. Third game for Cardiff is an away trip to Huddersfield. So Huddersfield only just avoided relegation last season, which means it's a difficulty rating of 2. Huddersfield and Cardiff haven't met in the Premier League either. They last met in the Championship in May 2017, and it finished Huddersfield 0, Cardiff City 3. Moving on, 4th game. This is the toughest game. Home game against Arsenal. Difficulty rating of 4. Arsenal's away record last season was actually 11th best in the Premier League, which is a little surprising. They only won 4 games out of 19 away from home. 16 points in 19 games. The last time that these two teams met at Cardiff in the league was November 2013, and it finished Cardiff 0, Arsenal 3. And rounding it off, the 5th game for Cardiff. Still doesn't get easier. An away trip to Stamford Bridge, a difficulty rating of 5. Chelsea's home record, 6th best last season, 11 wins in 19 games, 4 draws and 4 losses. The last time that these two met at Stamford Bridge was in October 2013. Chelsea run out 4-1 winners. Combined rating of 17 out of 25, which in my opinion is a tough start to the season for Cardiff. Could get points from the first 3 games, but it's going to be a tough ask getting points at home to Arsenal and away at Chelsea. Talking about Chelsea, they start the season away at Huddersfield Town. The last time that Chelsea went to Huddersfield, they came away 3-1 winners. Difficulty rating of 2, and Huddersfield's home record last season was 16th best in the Premier League. 6 wins in 19 games, 5 draws, 8 losses, 23 points. Arsenal's second game of the season, they have a home tie then against Arsenal. This game finished 0-0 last season in this fixture, difficulty rating of 4. Like I said in the previous slide, Arsenal's away record 11th best, so not very good. Needs improvement this season. They then have an away tie at Newcastle for their 3rd game. Newcastle actually beat Chelsea 3-0 this time last season. Difficulty rating of 4. And Newcastle's home record was 9th best. 19 games, 8 wins, 4 draws, 7 losses, 28 points. Chelsea's 4th game, Bournemouth at home. One of the biggest shocks of the season in this fixture last season, Chelsea 0, Bournemouth 3. Difficulty rating of 2. Arsenal's away record was actually 19 games, 4 wins, 6 draws and 9 losses, 8th ranked. 5th game, home tie against Cardiff. One of the easiest difficulty rating games, newly promoted Cardiff. The last time Chelsea actually played against Cardiff was in October 2013. It finished 4-1 to Chelsea. Cardiff's away record last season, 4th best in the Championship, 11 wins in 23 games, 5 draws and 7 losses, 38 points in total. So Chelsea, overall difficulty of 13 out of 25, which in my opinion is really favourable for them. I can see a lot of points through the first 5 games. Moving it on to Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace start the game away at Fulham. Start the season away at Fulham, newly promoted Fulham. The last time Fulham and Crystal Palace played against each other in the Premier League, May 2014, Fulham 2, Crystal Palace 2. Fulham's home record last season was 4th best, so I think that they could potentially get points from that game. However, the second game, they've got a home tie against Liverpool. Liverpool's away record last season weren't as good as the home record. 19 games, 9 wins, 5 draws, 5 losses, 32 points, which was 5th best all season, scoring a 4 on the difficulty. The last time that this game was played last season, it finished Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 2. 3rd game is Watford away. Watford 0, Crystal Palace 0. 0-0 draw last season. Watford, 12th best home record. 19 games, 7 wins, 6 draws, 6 losses, 27 points. Difficulty rating of 3. Southampton at home for the 4th game. Southampton only just avoided relegation last season. And Southampton's away record, like I've already said, 19th best in the league last season. So a difficulty rating of 1. Even though Southampton's away record wasn't good last season, they actually came to Crystal Palace and went away with a 1-0 win. 5th game, Huddersfield Town away. Huddersfield 0, Crystal Palace 2 was the score last season. Difficulty rating of 2. Huddersfield's home record, 16th best in the league, only 23 points in 19 games. So for Crystal Palace, difficulty rating of 12 out of 25, in my opinion, favourable. So apart from the Liverpool game, I think potential for plenty of points in the first 5 games. Everton start the season away at newly promoted Wolves and Championship winners. Difficulty rating of 2. Wolves' home record last season in the Championship was best. 16 wins in 23 games, 53 points. The last time that Wolves and Everton met in the Premier League at Wolves, May 2012, 0-0 draw. Everton's second game of the season is a home tie against Southampton. Like I've already said, Southampton poor away from home last season. Even though they managed to get a draw at Everton, finished 1-1, difficulty rating of 1. Third game of the season, away trip to Bournemouth. Bournemouth won this fixture last season 2-1. And Bournemouth's home record, even though it was only 15th best in the league, managed to take the 3 points. Difficulty rating of 3. Fourth game, a home tie against Huddersfield. Everton won this game 2-0 last season, so it's a difficulty of 1. Huddersfield's away record, 16th best in the league. Room for improvement this season. And then finally, fifth game, home tie against West Ham United. Everton hammered, pardon the pun, West Ham last season 4-0 at home. Difficulty rating of 3. West Ham's away record last season was 13th best, 15 points in 19 games. Overall difficulty rating, 10 out of 25, which is the lowest by far. So in my opinion, I think that Everton have a pretty easy first 5 games of the season. So I'm expecting quite a few points. Moving it on, newly promoted Fulham. First game in the Premier League this season, home tie against Crystal Palace. Difficulty rating of 2. The last time that they met at Fulham in the Premier League was May 2014, finished in a 2-2 draw. Hardest game, away at Tottenham Hotspur for the second game. Tottenham home record last season was 5th best in the Premier League, 43 points in 19 games, 13 wins. Difficulty rating of 5, and the last time that Tottenham and Fulham met at White Hart Lane in the Premier League, April 2014, Tottenham ran out 3-1 winners. Third game for Fulham is a home tie against Burnley. Burnley finished 7th in the league last season, so made it into qualification for the Europa League. They had the 6th best away record last season, 19 wins, 19 games, 7 wins, 7 draws, 5 losses, 28 points. The last time Fulham and Burnley met was in the Championship in March either 2010 or 2016, I can't understand me writing. But the game finished Fulham 2, Burnley 3. Difficulty rating this game of 3. The last time that the two sides met in the Premier League, February 2010, Fulham ran out 3-0 winners. Fourth game away, Brighton and Hove Albion. These two teams haven't met in the Premier League. The last time that they met was in November 2016 in the Championship. Brighton came away 2-1 winners. Difficulty rating of 3. And then fifth game, hardest game of the season, Manchester City away. Like I said, Manchester City's home record last season, they only lost 1 game at home all season. Best record, 50 points in 19 games. And the last time that they met at Manchester City, March 2014, Manchester City actually won the game 5-0. Overall difficulty rating of 18. Tough start to the season for New Boys Fulham. Huddersfield Town, home game, Chelsea. I don't know why that Crystal Palace badges appeared there. I think something's gone wrong on the slide. Chelsea at home, rating of 4. Huddersfield 1, Chelsea 3 was the fixture last season. Second game of the season for Huddersfield doesn't get any easier, Manchester City away. Even though Huddersfield came away from Manchester City with a 0-0 draw last season. Third game, home against Cardiff. The last time that Huddersfield and Cardiff met was in the Championship in May 2017. It finished Huddersfield 0, Cardiff City 3. Difficulty rating of 1 because Huddersfield are the home team and Cardiff are in the green section. Everton away for the 4th game, difficulty rating of 4. Everton beat Huddersfield 2-0 in this fixture last season. And then finally, as you've already noticed, Crystal Palace is the 5th game. Huddersfield 0, Crystal Palace 2 was the score last season, even though Crystal Palace had the 9th best record last season. 19 games, 4 wins, 6 draws and 9 losses for 18 points. Difficulty rating of 2. Overall, 16 out of 25 for Huddersfield. Tough start to the season, especially Chelsea and Manchester City the first couple of games. Moving on to Leicester. Leicester start the season, first game of the season, Friday night, Manchester United away at Old Trafford. Manchester United's home record was 3rd best last season, and this fixture last season was 2-0 to Manchester United, difficulty rating of 5. The second game of the season is the home tie against newly promoted Wolves. The last time that these two teams met finished Leicester 2, Wolves 1 in the Championship in January 2013. The two have actually met in the Premier League, and you have got to go back to February 2004 when it finished Leicester 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. Difficulty rating of 1 for Leicester. Third game is an away trip to Southampton to St Mary's, difficulty rating of 2. Southampton's home record last season not very good, which is why Leicester came away with a 4-1 win. Leicester's 4th game, home against Liverpool. This game last season it finished Leicester 2, Liverpool 3, so quite high scoring. Liverpool's away record 5th best, 9 wins in 19 games, 32 points. 5th game for Leicester is an away trip to Bournemouth. This game last season finished 0-0, difficulty rating of 3. Bournemouth 15th best home record last season, so room for improvement for them. Overall total 15 out of 25, favourable for Leicester because I think they'll get points against both Southampton and Bournemouth. I think they'll struggle against Manchester United and in the home fixture against Liverpool. Talking about Liverpool, first game of the season, West Ham United at home. Liverpool were 4-1 winners last season, difficulty rating of 3. Second game, Crystal Palace away. Liverpool won this game 2-1. Crystal Palace's home record 13th best, 19 games, 7 wins, 5 draws, 7 losses, 26 points. Third game, Brighton and Hove Albion. Liverpool ran away 4-0 winners last season, difficulty of 2. Brighton's away record 20th in the league last season, worst away team in the league, which is one of the reasons why Liverpool won 4-0. Fourth game, Leicester City away, difficulty rating of 4. It was Leicester 2, Liverpool 3 in this game last season. And then the 5th game, Tottenham away, difficulty rating of 5, which puts the difficulty at 17 out of 25, a tough start to the season for Liverpool. Liverpool actually lost to Tottenham 4-1 in that game last season. Moving on to the champions. Start the season away at Arsenal. Even though Man City went to Arsenal and won 3-0 last season, difficulty rating of 5. Arsenal's home record was 2nd best last season, only behind Manchester City. So a really good home record for Arsenal, not very good away record. Second game, home game against Huddersfield, difficulty of 1, even though this game finished 0-0 last season, so Huddersfield went to Manchester City and came away with a point. Newly promoted Wolves is up 3rd for Manchester City. They have an away tie, difficulty rating of 2. Newcastle United at home, 4th game, difficulty rating of 3. Manchester City won this game last season 3-1. Newcastle's away record was 12th best, 19 games, 4 wins, 4 draws, 11 losses, 16 points in 19 games. And then Manchester City's 5th game, newly promoted Fulham at home, difficulty rating of 1. The last time that Manchester City and Fulham actually met, March 2014, Manchester City 5, Fulham 0. Difficulty rating combined of 12, favourable for Manchester City, lots of potential points. Manchester United, first game of the season, Friday night at home to Leicester City. Difficulty rating of 3. This fixture last season, Manchester United were victorious 2-0. Second game of the season, an away trip to Brighton. They actually lost this fixture last season 1-0. Brighton's home record was 8th best compared to their away record, which is worst in the league. Third game, Tottenham Hotspur at home. Manchester United won 1-0 this time last season. Tottenham's away record, second best in the league. Burnley is Manchester United's 4th game away. Finished Burnley 0, Manchester United 1 last season. Difficulty rating of 4. Burnley's home record, 14th best in the league, even though they finished in 7th place. They were an away team last season, Burnley. Manchester United's 5th game, away at Watford. Watford 2, Manchester United 4 this time last season. Difficulty rating of 3. Overall difficulty rating of 17 out of 25, so a tough start to the season for Manchester United. Newcastle. First game of the season for Newcastle is Tottenham Hotspur at home. Newcastle 0, Tottenham 2 was the score last season, so it's a difficulty rating of 4. Second game away, newly promoted Cardiff, difficulty rating of 2. Cardiff 0, Newcastle 2 in the Championship in April 2017. Premier League 2013, Cardiff 1, Newcastle United 2. Third game, Chelsea at home. Newcastle 3, Chelsea 0 last season. Chelsea's away record was 4th best. They won 10 games, drew 3 and lost 6. Newcastle winning 3-0 was one of them losses. Difficulty rating of 4. Fourth game away, Manchester City, so it's not getting any easier. Manchester City beat Newcastle 3-1 in this fixture last season, a difficulty rating of 5. Manchester City's home record, best in the league last season. And then to round off the first 5, the home tie against Arsenal. Difficulty of 4, so not an easy start for Newcastle. Newcastle did, however, beat Arsenal 2-1 in this fixture last season, because Arsenal's away record 11th best in the league. Overall difficulty rating of 19, which is the highest so far, so a tough start. Could even say difficult start for Newcastle's start of the season. Southampton. Burnley at home, first game of the season, difficulty rating of 3. Southampton 0, Burnley 1 last season. Second game away, trip to Everton, difficulty rating of 4. Everton 1, Southampton 1, this time last season. Third game, home tie against Leicester. Southampton 1, Leicester City 4 last season in this tie. Difficulty rating of 3. Fourth game, Crystal Palace away. Palace 0, Southampton 1, difficulty rating of 3. And then finally, fifth game, Brighton and Hove Albion at home. Difficulty rating of 2. Brighton's away record, 20th in the league last season. Southampton 1, Brighton 1. Overall rating 15 out of 25. Good start to the season for Southampton, favourable, a few points, potentially. Tottenham. Away Newcastle, first game of the season. Newcastle 0, Tottenham 2 this time last season. Difficulty rating of 4. Tottenham then playing newly promoted Fulham. Difficulty rating of 1. The last time that these two met at White Hart Lane, Tottenham 3, Fulham 1 in April 2014. Tottenham then travel to Old Trafford. Difficulty rating of 5. This time last season it finished Manchester United 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Fourth game, an away trip to Watford. Difficulty rating of 3, and the teams drew this game last season 1-1. Fifth game, doesn't get any easier. Liverpool at home, difficulty rating of 4. Even though Tottenham came away 4-1 winners last season. Difficulty rating 17 of 25. Tough start to the season for Tottenham, especially Manchester United and Liverpool. Potentially 9 points, Newcastle, Fulham and Watford. And moving on to Watford. Brighton and Hove Albion, home, first game of the season. Difficulty rating of 2, finished 0-0 in this fixture last season. Watford then travelled to Burnley for the second game of the season with a difficulty of 4, and Burnley actually won this fixture 1-0 last season. Crystal Palace at home, 0-0 last season, difficulty rating of 2. Home tie then for the fourth game against Tottenham, difficulty rating of 4, 1-1 last season. And then finally Watford's fifth game, home tie against Manchester United, difficulty rating of 4, and Manchester United actually went to Vicarage Road and won 4-2 last season. 16 on the difficulty rating out of 25, favourable first 3 games for Watford, and then a much tougher fourth and fifth game. West Ham United, Liverpool away, first game of the season. Doesn't get any tougher than that. Difficulty rating of 5, Liverpool actually beat West Ham 4-1 last season. Bournemouth at home for the second game. Rating of 2, West Ham 1, Bournemouth 1 last season. Third game, Arsenal away. Arsenal 4, West Ham United 1 last season. Arsenal's home record second best. Fourth game, Wolverhampton Wanderers at home, newly promoted. The last time that these two teams met in the Premier League, West Ham United 2, Wolves 0 in January 2011. Difficulty rating of 1. Fifth game is away to Everton, difficulty rating of 4. Everton actually beat West Ham 4-0 in this fixture last season. Overall difficulty for West Ham, 17 out of 25. Tough start to the season on paper, but West Ham United have bought quite a few players this season, and I think their squad has been strengthened a lot. So I think that they're going to do well this season. And lastly, moving on, Wolverhampton Wanderers, newly promoted Championship winners. First game of the season, Everton at home, difficulty rating of 3. Wolves 0, Everton 0, the last time they met in the Premier League in May 2012. Second game, Leicester City away, difficulty rating of 4. The last time that they met, January 2013 in the Championship, Leicester won 2-1. But the last time that they met in the Premier League, February 2004, 0-0 draw. Third game, Manchester City at home, difficulty rating of 4. Manchester City beat Wolves 3-1 the last time that they met in the Premier League in October 2011. Fourth game, West Ham United away, difficulty of 4. These two met again in January 2011. West Ham United 2, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. Finally, Wolves' fifth game, home tie against Burnley. The last time these two teams met was in the Championship, 0-0 draw in November 2015. The last time they met in the Premier League, got to go back to December 2009. It finished Wolves 2, Burnley 0. Difficulty rating of 3. Overall difficulty rating 18 out of 25. Tough start to the season for newly promoted Championship winners Wolves. So they're the first 5 fixtures for each of the teams, and now overall difficulty. So this is how I split it up. Newcastle United, in my opinion, have the toughest start to the season. Followed then by Fulham, Wolves and Arsenal, who all have 18 difficulty rating. Tough start to the season for them 3 teams. Cardiff next, rating of 17, tough start. Then comes West Ham, Liverpool, Tottenham and Manchester United. All have a tough start to the season with 17, same as Cardiff. Bournemouth, favourable start to the season, so potential points with a rating of 16. Next comes Cardiff and Watford, same again, 16, favourable, so looking for some points from them 2 clubs. Then comes Southampton, Brighton and Leicester, 15 rating, favourable start to the season, so again more points. Chelsea with a favourable 13, So potentially Chelsea could be up near the top at the start of the season after the first 5 games. Next, we've got Crystal Palace, Burnley and Manchester City, who all got a 12 rating and a favourable start to the season for them. And then Everton got the easiest start to the season in my opinion, 10 rating, potentially 12-15 points for Everton if they can get the wins. So thanks for watching guys, hope this has helped you, and look forward to seeing you in my next video. Take care.